afternoon, everyone. Based on study, and we all know this, most of us know this, that based on study, 2 to 4 out of 10 seafarers may suffer symptoms of depression and anxiety on board. So now we are talking about on board. So what's on board that's causing this anxiety that may lead to a much severe symptoms or disorder psychologically, which may entail to suicide, ideation, self-harm, you name it. But what we always talk about is the operational safety when it comes to vessel safety, onboard safety. And what we usually play down is the psychological safety that is actually the reason why safety on board the vessel, operational safety, is affected. So basically, there are two sides of it. We call that silent killer. Because psychological safety is a burden, it's a ghost riding on your shoulder. That's the reason why there are so many saying that there's no indication, there is no immediate symptoms. It comes like a storm because it's actually a ghost sitting on your shoulder. Now, what are the triggering points? What are the triggering factors? You can see on the screen. I don't have to read it one by one, but you can see that these are all related. These are all related to psychological and emotional aspects of the person. And on top of that, you can see that aside from the onboard problem or burden that they might be facing, there is also the other side of a family problem, a personal problem that he is facing back home. So it's actually a combination of worries and burden that's affecting the psychological. Now, what we can do about that? Regulatory-wise, we all know that effective entry into force January, there was an amendment of STCW. That was the updating of PSSR, that's the personal safety and social responsibility, which now captures more on the violence, SASH we call that, the sexual assault and sexual harassment, bullying, and it is being addressed in the regulatory side. It was put into standard because it is obvious that it is something that has an impact on the industry. It has been there before. PSSR has been there before. That's one of the 4 elements of basic training. But no such impact in the past has been seen like what we are experiencing now. Therefore, and on the other side, MLC created a sort of a safety net or a barrier that crew will have the well-being, mental well-being, the welfare that they need on board the vessel. It's given. So regulatory-wise, it's covered. It's only a matter of how we execute and how we implement. It will touch on, again, living and working condition on board. Let's look at the comparison between the psychological danger and safety. How can you tell that there's a danger psychologically? Basically, you have fear of admitting mistakes. Blaming others, team members are less likely to share different views, allowing group dynamics is affected. decision making. Okay, so what's on the other side? If there's a psychological safety, of course, you are comfortable of admitting mistakes. This is a no-blame culture. Everyone openly shares idea. The more idea, the more solution can come up. Better innovation in decision making, because you are free to decide, and your decision will be based on more of a shared ideas that has been given by the group or the whole group. Let me connect and have the intersection between the operational safety and the psychological safety. It all starts there. You know, we can see stenciled huge letters, safety first. This is operational safety. And operational safety or safety culture on board the vessel will not be as solid as it is, even if you implement, if people on board are suffering from psychological safety or danger. This is the key characteristics that you will see for a vessel that has a safety culture embedded and being observed. Top-down commitment, visible dedication to safety from senior management, treating safety as core business function. Now you can see there is, the previous slide we have, the survey that was made earlier, this biggest opportunity to solve solve safety problems. The first 5 items, 5 lines there, the top 3 goes in, and leadership is number 5, if I can remember it right, but it always comes as part of a safety culture. And I agree earlier with the earlier speakers here, Attorney Iris, and as highlighted by Apo, that leadership is very important. Shared values, collective belief. You have to be proactive with approach, not reactive. Open reporting, a just culture. Employee engagement, crew engagement. Continuous improvement. Of course, when you have something put in place, it should improve, it should evolve to serve the purpose of the times. Indicators of a strong safety culture, consistent use of personal protective equipment. This is now, when you have the safety culture embedded in the system, because we are talking about a culture, this is not about a safety procedure. Culture, procedure is different. Culture is embedded. It is something that you do automatically. It is something that they have created it through exercise, constant practice, and observance. This is something that is built by design. It's a culture. Consistent use of PPE. That is a sign that there is a safety culture. Good housekeeping, effective teamwork, proactive hazard identification reporting, regular effective safety training. Again, training will always be part of that. Leadership, training, collaboration, well-being, etc. Those are all components, those are all part of this big circle that we have to face. Benefits. Now, of course, if you have a safety culture in place, everyone is observing it, everyone is taking it as a natural or normal part of their day-to-day life, reduce injuries, because that's what we're aiming for, reduce injuries, and of course, insurance cost. You know, injuries are costly. Not to mention the burden, the emotional and physical implication that the seafarer might face about that. Improve brand image, of course, reputation, and higher productivity and lower crew turnover. Building an effective safety culture is actually one of those what we had been talking about for many, many years, but how do we implement and how do we execute? Is everybody buying? Is everybody going into that culture, or people are just taking it as part of their paperworks? Now, we have what are the benefits? Of course, what we do, we need training, we need communication, ensure clear and consistent communication. We have to do consultations involving seafarers in safety discussion and decision making. This is where you have to agree on, and you have to put this SWA, the Stop Work Order Authority. And then, of course, the psychological safety. And again, regardless, no matter how you talk about it, we can talk about safety all day. If the leadership doesn't buy, if the leadership doesn't show its willingness, it doesn't fly out. Thank you.